Be an employee for Amazon.com. You could play games while you slave for $1 trillion corporation. Let's get into it. Skip it up and that up. Hey everyone, make sure to click the subscribe button and also click the bell to make sure you get notifications of all my new uploads. Thank you for supporting Review Tech USA. So we've heard about recently how Amazon workers in Bessemer, Alabama are trying to unionize. Lord knows if there is any company on the planet that needs unions, it is Amazon. And if you want any proof, like, Rich, what's your evidence that they need unions? They've upped their pay to $15 an hour, blah, 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 just because people have to pee in cans on where they're working at Amazon in the factory because if they take too long of a pee break, they could actually be docked pay or fired. What's the proof that they need unions? You want proof? Amazon's putting out anti-union commercials. Drop the mic. Like any company, when they put out anti-union commercials, that pretty much is evidence in and of itself that they need unions. Because if they don't want unions that bad, there's a reason for it. It's that simple. You don't need to be an economics scholar to understand that. That's just kind of common sense. Well, while you're working at Amazon and you're not under a union and you're basically doing slave labor and you're wondering if life is worth living because you're working in a hot factory where they don't even give you enough time to freaking urinate, they're gamifying their work system, and you could play games and earn high scores and get swag if you're more productive. It kind of sounds similar to the social credit system in China, except China doesn't give you prizes. They just take away your freedoms if you don't rank high in the social credit system. America. Well, anyway, this comes from TheVerge.com. They discuss Amazon gamifying its warehouses. I'll read it to you. Then we'll cringe, then we'll discuss. Amazon is expanding an existing program that gamifies warehouse work to encourage its fulfillment center employees to improve their efficiency and compete against others for digital rewards like virtual pets. Yay! Oh boy, according to a new report from The Information, the program is called FC Games, and it includes as many as 6 arcade-style mini-games that can be played only by completing warehouse tasks in the workplace. It's been known since at least 2019 that Amazon uses gamification in the form of workstation games to try to incentivize employees to improve productivity, but The Information reports that Amazon is now expanding those methods to warehouses in at least 20 states throughout the country. Many of the games tend to be simple virtual representations of how fast the worker is completing a task. One, called Mission Racer, moves a car around a track while a picking employee sorts products into appropriate boxes, as reported by the Washington Post at the time. Employees have told us they enjoy having the option to join in these workstation games, and we're excited to be taking their feedback and expanding the program to even more buildings throughout our network. Kent Hollenbach, an Amazon spokesperson, tells The Information, even with this expansion, the program remains completely optional for employees. They can switch in or out of different games depending on their preference, can play anonymously, or not play at all. The choice is theirs. But I assure you, if you don't participate in these games, Amazon has a list that you'll be on, and they'll make sure if someone's going to get cut, it's going to be you. They could tell me whatever they want to. I assure you that's happening behind the scenes. They also have their own version of Tamagotchi for one of these mini games called Tamazilla. Remember Tamagotchi? That was like Bandai's thing back in like the late 90s where you'd have like a digital pet. Really, Amazon, but I guess they think people will be interested in it. But you can win some actual prizes during certain times of the year. As the Washington Post reported in 2019, some employees have used FC Games Performance to ask for more so-called swag bucks. Instead of, actually giving them a bonus or something, that would be nice during like the holiday season where people are buying gifts or maybe just trying to keep a roof over their head. A proprietary Amazon currency that can be exchanged for company merchandise like t-shirts and water bottles. The Information report also says that during busy holiday rushes, warehouse employees can win pricey consumer electronics like game consoles or an Apple Watch by performing well. So I'm sure many of you have heard of the working conditions at Amazon. One of the most famous stories that I always bring up was where at Amazon warehouses, Amazon sat down and made a decision. Do we actually put proper air conditioning in our buildings? Or do we have ambulances outside so when warehouse workers pass out during hot seasons, it's just cheaper if they have heat stroke just to drive them to the hospital and get treated? And they chose the ambulances because it was cheaper. Did I mention that Amazon needs a union? They need to unionize. Workers need to unionize. That's the working conditions. And I know people that work in Amazon warehouses, and they tell me, yeah, it's pretty much as bad as everything that you hear. It's improved somewhat, but it's still pretty bad. And the reason it's improving because Amazon is scared shitless of unionizing. That's why they're putting anti-union commercials out. And you can't tell me that this gaming system that they have, if you don't participate and if you score lower than other people, you don't think that they're looking at you and watch. It's a social credit system. It's an Amazon social credit system, literally like China's doing. I've talked about the social credit system in China before, where if you say things on the heavily controlled social media over there that the government doesn't like, you get knocked down on the social credit system to the point where you can't use a plane to fly somewhere. And you can't get certain jobs if the government doesn't like what you have to say. I'm not even exaggerating. And this, to a smaller degree, at least just in the Amazon ecosystem, is their social credit system. Oh, yeah, play our game. But if you don't play our game, we're going to see that you're not playing the game, and we'll probably axe you first before anybody else. And we're going to use it to track your productivity. And if you don't do exactly what we want you to, and you don't literally break your ass trying to move as many products out the door as you possibly can, and if you take more than one pee break per shift, you're gone. Look, Amazon workers need to unionize. And here's another thing too. You want to know how bad Amazon doesn't want to unionize? I believe this was in Alabama too, where there are stoplights. This happened. I'm just not sure of the location. At the stoplights, there would be Amazon workers wanting to tell people to, hey, roll down your window. We want to talk to you about how we want to unionize. We think it's fair for Amazon workers. We think that Amazon doesn't treat their employees fairly. Amazon called legislators in the state to make the timing of the lights be so the people who were picketing saying that we want to unionize Amazon wouldn't have time to talk to the people at the stoplights. I'm not kidding. This is a real thing. So again, if you don't think that Amazon should have unions, the commercials that they're doing and what I just told you there are evidence that they should have unions, because they really don't want them, and there has to be reasons why they don't want them. It's slave labor there. I know people that work at Amazon warehouses that tell me war stories, and something needs to change. Even if I have to wait an extra day or two to get products from them, if it means that workers have a better quality of life, then so be it, man. You know, I know eventually Amazon's going to go over to a completely automated warehouse anyway. They're already talking about it now, and it's kind of like a hybrid system, and so be it. But until then, there's human beings working there, and they need to be treated like human beings. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.